Reaction from President and Mrs. Biden in Delaware.
Children love Betty White. We're so sad about her death.
99 years old.
Yeah.
As my mother would say, God love her.
The president also talked about his call yesterday with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
They've talked twice in December, both times on getting Russia to stand down on its threat to Ukraine. Vladimir Putin telling President Biden he first wants guarantees they'll have talks on NATO staying out of Russia's backyard.
I made it clear that they only could work if, in fact, he de-escalated, not escalated the situation.
Russia has an estimated 100,000 troops now on the border with Ukraine. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
New Year's Eve, which used to be celebrated globally with a free-spirited wildness, feeling for some like a case of deja vu with the fast-spreading Omicron variant again filling hospitals. Wall Street ended today with losses by the major indexes, but ended the year very strongly. The S&P 500 wound up with a yearly gain of about 27%. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
The new year means new laws going into effect. Recreational marijuana will become legal in Montana. State voters approved the change on the November 2020 ballot. Only businesses that had been providing medical marijuana before are eligible to grow, manufacture, and sell adult-use marijuana. Where a lot of New Year's isn't going on is the California town that Michelle Franzen talks about.
Some bars and businesses in downtown San Jose have canceled New Year's Eve events over COVID and those Omicron concerns. Even residents like Mark Wagner say they don't want to go out.
It's less deadly, more transmissible. I just don't want to get anything.
The city says it's not sure how many people will end up attending outdoor celebrations tonight.
A fourth and more potential shortages. ABC's Tom Rivers.
Israel's begun delivering a fourth vaccine dose for people most vulnerable, becoming one of the first countries to do so as it prepares for a wave of infections. And Hong Kong's Cathay Pacific Airlines is suspending cargo flights for a week due to stricter quarantine requirements for air crews, potentially adding strain on global supply chains.
Kind of drought means fewer bubbles. ABC's Jim Ryan.
Could be harder to bid 2021 goodbye with a champagne toast. Wine experts say the U.S. is in the early stages of a champagne drought that could last several years. The French bubbly has fallen victim to supply chain issues this year and truck driver shortages. Analysts also point to low grape yields in 2021.
This is ABC News.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Get extra strong for your South Pole. Charmin keeps your undies whiter than the North Pole. A shiny hiney, a brand new year. Come to us, Charmin. Happy New Year. May your holidays be Charmin, clean, merry, and bright. May all your undies be Charmin, clean white.
Charmin Ultra Strong just cleans better. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center, here's your forecast for Beaumont, Banning, and the Pass area. Partly sunny this afternoon and 53. Partly cloudy tonight as you're out and about for your New Year's Eve plans, low at 38. For the first day of 2022, sunshine and a high at 53. For the Inland Empire this afternoon, partly sunny and 56. Partly cloudy tonight, low at 38. And for the Desert Cities, mostly sunny this afternoon and 65. I'm Todd Edwards for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
And here's Jay. Jay is happy to be here. And before anything else happens, let me just wish everyone a very, very happy New Year. Happy personal, happy business-wise, whatever, family-wise, very successful next year. So remember that this is the last show this year, the Educated Retirement, and hopefully we got some more years. So welcome to the Educated Retirement Show here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for that retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. And normally I don't talk that much. I mean, I do. I talk too much, but I don't talk as much about the finance aspect of real estate, which is what the show is supposed to be, and about being comfortable in the retirement years. But that's why sometimes I put in snippets from other people's shows where I'm being interviewed, and depending on time, we may do that, and I'll talk about reverse mortgages and things like that. But don't worry about that at this point in time. So absolutely meet your retirement needs, top off your tank so you can make it all the way. And remember that the future is now. And even though lots of people have used that term, I got it from Hudsucker Proxy, and we're going to talk about Hudsucker Proxy just the way we did last year this time. Last year it was on New Year's Day. This year, it's on New Year's Eve. And because knowledge is power. And our phone number is 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And let me just change the little boards here so you can take a look. The website for this show and everything about retirement financing, including the home equity conversion, is the same as this show, theeducatedretirement.com, or for short, you can also find it at drhecm.com, drhecm.com, and that means I'm a doctor of, or a guru there of home equity conversion mortgage. Now, while we are on that website, remember that there is also a link to most all of the older shows, older meaning as old as a week ago, and a way to find this show live, as you can also. Well, actually, there is a link there to watch the show live or listen to it live, but it's really a link to the KMET website. So either way, it works just fine. So you scroll down about halfway down the front page, and there you will see it. You'll also see a link to my partner in Florida, Louis Morosco. You will also find the YouTube channel, which I just talked about, and there. So speaking of other shows here on KMET, we always give a shout out to Let Grandpa Speak, whose show is here every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And it is the best way to start your weekend with a good and happy mood. And if you ever listen to him laugh, you know how happy he is. He's 91 years old and very active. He belongs to, I think, several bowling leagues. Me, I am way younger, and I can't even pick up a child's bowling ball, let alone be as active as he is. So, and don't forget the West Coast Business Review with Daryl McCants. He is actually a repeat offender on this show, and I was on his show on Wednesday. He is on every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Bill Morris is like a co-host on there, and he is also a repeat offender for this show. But they always give a plug for this show, saying that I'm a part of his advisory board. And Bill Morris along too, Bill Morris from UCI. And don't forget Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show here on KMET Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. And I'm on his show at least once a month. And on his show, I talk about reverse mortgages and, especially how finance can be used for your own benefit as you are approaching retirement. So do I have a day job, you hope? Yes, I do. I am at the Loan Source, and my NMLS number is 384-565, 384-565. And I have a Department of Real Estate license also, but as you probably know by this time, I don't sell real estate. I simply want to stay on top of what's going on real estate. So speaking of real estate and a little bit of concern for finance for us older and retired people, I am reading this from an article, and I don't know who wrote the article. And if I find out, I'll let you know probably next week. But it's only one quick paragraph. And I think it is important, and it is... I am reading this from an article. Kathleen, there you go. Inflation is by far the number one economic concern going into 2022. If inflation is running above 6% and you are earning 0% on your savings, maybe it's about what it is, or you receive 3% rise for 2022, that's a problem. As an aside from that, remember you're probably increasing your line of credit on a HECM quicker than that. So again, a HECM reverse mortgage is a great hedge against inflation. So many are worried about a period of escalating prices and don't trust what they're hearing from mainstream economics and central bank officials. At the start of 2021, the U.S. was forecast to end the year with 2% inflation, and it's actually close to 7%. Fed Chair Jay Powell, has subsequently backtracked on his transitory thesis with the term endangering a delayed reaction to the current price environment. Now, understand that a lot of inflation has to do with real estate. I understand that. But a lot of it has to do with supply and as the pros say, supply chain problems. And that I'm not sure is going to last. So is it going to be a horrible time for inflation? I think there will be some. I'm not sure I share the pessimism of that article. And just to let you know, Hansel, like Hansel and Gretel, Handsel, is a gift given to wish good luck for the year ahead. So Hansel, the word dates back to the 1300s and derives from hand, Hand, and Selen, Selen, an Old English word meaning gift or donation. A cousin of the word sell, there you go, sell. A Hansel can also be the first installment of a payment or bond, although we tend to use less colorful terms, first payment. Of course, if you have a reverse mortgage, that payment is up to you, and that first payment can be whenever you want it to be. The word mortgage, speaking of mortgage, comes from Old French morgue, M-O-R-G-A-G-E, literally dead pledge, from mort, meaning dead, and G-A-G-E, meaning pledge. The term mortgage is used interchangeably with home loan or lien or deed of trust. Little interesting stuff for our New Year's. And today it is December, actually, 31st. So, Happy New Year once again. And the tradition of ringing in the new year in Times Square dates back to December 31st, 1904, when the New York Times lit up its newly constructed building with fireworks and dynamite. Boy, that'd be great to have fireworks and dynamite now everywhere to celebrate New Year's. Maybe that's a way to keep New Year's from happening. But, excuse me, but the midnight ball drop didn't begin until 1907 when the city government outlawed fireworks shows. I guess dynamite was okay, citing safety concerns. And we'll get a little bit more into the history of that in a bit. It's also National Champagne Day, and it's time for some champagne. Recognizes the wine that puts the pop in every New Year's Eve. Genuine champagne comes from France's Champagne region. And it is said that currently there is a champagne shortage due to global warming. There was a pretty good show about that, or segment on 60 Minutes last Sunday about exactly that. But frost destroyed approximately 30% of Champagne's crop. And frost, you say, is cold. We're talking about global warming. Yes, those things are connected. And mildew destroyed an additional 25 to 30% in all crops, and hail damaged thousands of acres of vineyards. So, Happy New Year. And here's a short list of New Year's Eve movies that you may want to watch. After The Thin Man, of course, the Thin Man series is great, and I believe it's starting right now, but you can wait a little bit, on Turner. And this is, what is this? Oh, this is a radio drama of The Thin Man. There we go. And of course, I love those, all of those. I can't tell you how many times we've watched every single one of the Thin Man movies. So entertaining. But okay, there's also the Poseidon Adventure. And is this the new one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it's still Poseidon Adventure, and it's New Year's Eve party that gets turned upside down when the ship gets turned upside down. In our case, the last year or two has turned upside down. But we're hoping, instead of escaping out of the bottom, we're hoping to get it all righted and back up where it belongs. So, Strange Days, wow. That is a strange movie. I enjoyed it, watched it several times. Here is a Laserdisc version, and that's with Ralph Fiennes and a bunch of other people. And it was directed by Catherine Bigelow, who you probably have heard of for several other things. Ocean's 11, 1960. We don't have that one handy. But I can have, when NASA Nellie comes down to Earth, we can have her sing the theme song to Ocean's 11. Snowpiercer, 2013, and I love that movie. I didn't exactly love the TV show, but I think it did pretty well. And Snowpiercer was directed by the same guy that did, that won all those awards a year or so ago for Parasite, which was amazing. An American in Paris, which is always a lot of fun to watch. And one of our personal favorites, Hudsucker Proxy, from which The Future Is Now comes from, and I think we've talked about this at length before, So this is so much fun. You got to watch it. Highly, highly recommended. Another one that we do watch on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, is Woody Allen's Radio Days. So that's also ends up on a rooftop celebration in New York on a New Year's, and I forget what year that is. And Hudsucker Proxy is also New Year's Eve. It doesn't say what year, so it's kind of anything. But also, the Bloody Mary made its debut in Paris at the Ritz Hotel in 1921, and it was originally named the Bucket of Blood. Ugh. It's bad enough to have a name Bloody Mary, although I prefer Bloody Bulls. But in any case, to call it Bucket of Blood, here's the film Bucket of Blood. This is a Roger Corman classic. Music by Fred Katz. Fred Katz flunked me at Cal State Fullerton in a music theory class, and it's kind of a personal thing, but what I did was I just stopped going because of certain things that were said. So in any case, Dick Miller, and if you know Dick Miller, I think he passed away about a year ago or so. He was in so many of these low-budget films. Showed up again in Joe Dante's film of Matinee, which was so much fun also.
And then Little Shop of Horrors.
And Little Shop of Horrors. Well, of course, he was in the original one of that. But Matinee was just so much fun. But anyway, this Bucket of Blood, because I guess tomato juice is red, was invented by bartender Ferdinand, called Pete, Titois, T-E-T-I-O-T, mixed up the cocktail with vodka, tomato juice, lemon juice, cayenne, and Worcestershire for the first time. You know, I also like it with, and some places do serve it with pickle juice, which I think also gives it a good punch. So it's Polar Bear Swim Day, or tomorrow is. And the Polar Bear Plunge is an event held during the winter where participants enter a body of water despite the low temperature. In the U.S., polar bear plunges are usually held to raise money for charity held on New Year's Day. And speaking of New Year's, just to look back on a couple of the great books that I talked about, and I want to make sure nobody forgets. One of our repeat offenders here, Dr. Wade Pfau, who I consider, a friend and, just an amazing, amazing author and a well of knowledge about retirement you just can't find anywhere else. Not only finance, but way of life, choices to make. He doesn't tell you which ones, but he points out what those choices are. And the other book did not come out this last year, but it's a perennial favorite, and not just for the cover, although the cover alone is worth the price. And it is, of course, Take That Nursing Home and Shove It, and that is by my good friend and probably the best elder care attorney I know of, or probably that exists, Susan B. Geffen. And if you do, by the way, if you do look up my website at www.theeducatedretirement.com, down at the bottom you will see a little link to her website. Now, I don't know what the schedule is with the satellites right now, but does NASA Nellie have time to